morning, everyone. I'm going to change a setting over here. Just a moment. Better to see you with. Okay. Okay. How are you? Glad to be with you again. We're going to continue our exploration right now with the second chakra. I was thinking about you during my own practice this morning and how sometimes we use this sort of method of compressing and then decompressing, compressing and decompressing to help sense how the fluids of the body are moving. Much like if you've had Thai massage when they're pressing on and then releasing, and the way that they're doing that, or also I think shiatsu has a similar process, but I really felt it with the Thai massage people when they would stand on one of your limbs, for example, or they would press for a long time on the abdomen. And then on the release, you would feel this revitalization. So in a similar way, we do in some of the yoga practices, we are deliberately compressing and then decompressing on behalf of making the fluid systems of the body work better. And since we're at the water element with the second chakra, the word svadhisthana, second chakra, we're going to use this compressing and decompressing kind of methodology this morning. We often use it in class. I'm just making it more explicit right now. So please take a comfortable seat for yourself to settle in and rest your hands in your lap. Close your eyes. And welcome yourself to arrive here. You might actually sway a little bit left to right or front to back and sense, are you sitting in your plumb line? Do you feel yourself to be established at the center of the pelvic floor, at the root? And then welcome your breath to come. And at first, without you modifying anything, so only noticing that it's happening. And then begin dancing with the breath, like a dance partner. So feeling the movement of the inhale, the movement of the exhale, and try to cultivate, I always say, really smooth. You can think of the word unctuous as well for the kapha dosha, which is comprised of earth and water, the first two chakras, the first phase of our life from conception into infancy and toddlerhood. So think of the breath having that kind of smooth, meandering quality that you're going to partner with. So it's expansive on the inhale and consistently and concentrically toning on the exhale. And then please bring your hands together at your heart. Our chant this week is Asatoma Satgamaya. Let's begin together. Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. You may bow your head to your heart. Release your hands. Open your eyes. We're going to take the hands inside out on the floor. So if you'll turn the palms upside down, I guess you could say, and inside out. And as you sit back in your hips, you may or may not be able to get the heels of your hands to the floor. I understand. Mine aren't quite touching right now either. And I'd like you to lean a little bit side to side and roll across the sensations. You'll feel your thumbs, index finger, the other fingers, then pinky, middle, index, thumb moving across. You may also feel the sensations sort of scrolling across your wrists, left to right, as when moving the cursor on the computer screen. As you go side to side, just picture that you're offering, as I said yesterday, the Tin Man. You're sort of oiling up the joints of the body, including your wrists, of course, but also your elbows and your shoulders. And even the shoulder blades and the vertebrae, the rib cage, they're having a little movement too. Now keeping just your right hand on the floor as it is. Take your left hand and give a squeeze as you press down. Squeeze and press down. Squeeze and press down. Squeeze and root. And as you're squeezing, now go back down in small increments. So you give a squeeze and then root down towards the wrist. One more time at the base of the wrist. And then roll your right hand up and let's change sides. So take the left hand upside down, inside out. Give a good squeeze at the base of the wrist. You may have two very different experiences with your hands because, of course, we do have hand dominance. I've been clipping some things in the garden here and I can feel the clippers, the muscles that operate the clippers Let's go back down from the forearm, slowly, slowly towards the wrist. Okay, and then peel that hand up and shake the hands, please. Now, at first, when you start shaking, you might feel like the stiffness of having had some compression to your fingers and thumbs. But this shaking right now is asking the circulation to go back down towards the hands. And keep shaking. You can let the arms be like loosey-goosey, like all rubbery. And I know that can be hard. Some of you this might not be one of your neuromuscular patterns anymore. So you have to practice to bring it back. Let it shake. And then shake the arms up overhead. Sometimes we call this slug shaking, as if you got slugs. They're on your hands and you want to get them off. Go out to the side, and then 3 strong shakes down. We go 1, 2, 3. Now let the arms just dangle. Hopefully they won't touch the floor heavily. And notice the circulation going back down to your hands. Now we're going to go inhale up, exhale down. Go up and down rapidly. This is through the nose. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now inhale to go up. And exhale, push out. Rest your hands over your knees. And deeply relax. Take the left hand like a little fist, and this is called topotement, and you can go up and down the top of your right arm. Let the hand be relaxed so you can actually see it responding. Turn the thumb side of your arm up towards the ceiling. So now you're on a little bit more the bony structure alongside your forearm, and then up towards the bicep. And then palm face up. And then you go underneath like this. And include the armpit, please, and the armpit chest. We used to have these words in Iyengar yoga. We had the inner armpit, the outer armpit, the armpit chest, all these places to know about in the body. And then come across to the chest. And then notice the difference left to right. Okay, the other side. You can smile at yourself doing this. And again, let the hand be really relaxed so you can see it responding. Up up and down in the pattern and the pace that's yours. Turn to the thumb side of your arm. So you've got this bony part near the wrist, which might be a little bit uncomfortable, and then up towards the bicep. And then palm face up. And then the back of the arm. Include the armpit. Good morning to your body. And come across to the chest, please. And then take both hands, use the fingers. So underneath the sternum is the thymus gland, which is associated with your immune system. Just outside the sternum, on the chest wall. Okay, and then bring that to a close and let your hands rest out over your knees. And notice what is happening in the inner landscape of the body, and also for your mind, observing your body. Now let's see if this breathing activity is any bit easier, having moved some of the lymph, which means moving some of the garbage recycling and other debris. So we go up with the inhale, down with the exhale. Inhale up and exhale, push out. Reach back and interlace your fingers at the small of your back and give a good strong squeeze of the arms behind you. Raise your chest and your heart. Open your throat. This is a compression of sorts. When you roll the shoulders back, squeeze the upper back. There's the compression between the shoulder blades. Take a deep breath in, please. And then exhale, bring just your chin down towards your heart. Keep the shoulders back. And then release your hands and your arms. Rest your palms, one in the lap of the other. And drop your attention down to the root, the base. And you can chant with me 5 times. The sound is lum, and then 5 times total. 5 times repeating, I should say. Lum, 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 lum. 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 Now picture how the base, the root, supports the structure inside. How the second chakra is dependent upon the first chakra. Please shake your legs out as needed. And then reach, after you shake the legs out, I will say, you're going to have one blanket, a long, narrow blanket like this. So you can, when you shake the legs out, something that you might do is pretend that the feet are each like windshield wipers. These are like the windshield wipers on the bus, so they don't go together, they're rhythms together, but they're not going left and then right together. They're going in, out together. And then let that pause. You're going to feel a little like tingle in the feet perhaps. Now the blanket, we're going to do some compression, and this you have to modify based on your knees. But if you take yourself to your high knees with this blanket, right up snugly at the back of the calves, and you're up on the high knees right now. Okay. And then when we go down, you're going to want that blanket to be snug to the back of the calves. So you press on it and then sit down. And you are putting compression on the back of the calves, but you're not closing the knees all the way. So for some of you, that's going to be easier on the knee joint, but you're going to feel the base of the hamstrings and the top of the calves. I hope you're enjoying. It does take a few moments for it to, metabolize in the body. A little bit longer. Some of you might find that your heels have come down, your hips have come down to your heels just by being here. Just a few moments more. Okay, now shift forward. Place your hands, curl your toes under, reach your hips back, and then raise up to downward dog pose. That blanket's going to fall to the floor. And notice what your first downward dog pose feels like after having done some of that work with the hands, the wrists, your arms and shoulders, and with the legs. What's happening now? Rise up high on your toes, please. And then bring your knees down to the floor. Point the toes. Now reach for your blanket. If it got all disheveled, you have to tidy it up again. And now I'm going to ask you to place it on the middle of your calves, so not as snug up, and sit down again. Now, for some of us, it's pretty easeful to sit like this, so you're not getting a lot of compression. If you want that to be a stronger experience, you take one part of the blanket and fold it a tiny bit more to make it a little bit thicker, and then sit down. So what you've done is when you fold that tiny bit a little bit more, you make the blanket a little bit more ropey, and then it's going to be more provocative on the calves. So you're somewhere in the middle of the calves right now, and the middle of the hamstrings. We're just hanging out, just letting it happen. You can smile at your body's sensations. That's always more pleasant than frowning at them. Okay, walk your hands forward. Come forward, curl the toes under. Raise your hips high behind you. The blanket will fall to the floor. And notice again the feeling of your downward dog pose. And then roll forward. And now this time, we're gonna all roll the blanket because it won't be enough when you put it at the base of the calves or the Achilles. You may not have enough. So if you roll it snugly, and then place it so it's gonna be at the bottom of your calves and over the Achilles. So you're kneeling right there. And if you don't get down low enough for that to be effective, then try tucking the toes under and sitting back. So also when you tuck the toes under, for some of you, what's going to happen is that the Achilles and the calves will have a slight stretching feeling because you've changed the position of your feet from toes pointed to toes flexed. So if you put some weight onto the hips, on the heels, you can also rock a little bit side to side. Let me assure you that I'm not 100% comfortable either. So for me, it's my toes that get the most stretch right now, especially the big toes. I just don't have flexible toes. I've always wondered about those people with the toes. Wow, they can really bend them. And they don't even need pressure on them. They just bend the toe back by the toe doing it all on its own. It's partly genetic, so no need to extrapolate further on that. Okay, come to center, and there you are, hips on the heels, the blanket between them, so the pressure is on the base of the calf and the Achilles. And for me, my toes. Okay, walk your hands forward and raise your hips high. You can now push the blanket back out of the way and come into your downward facing dog pose. And when you stretch back to this dog pose, just explore what's happening between your fingerprints pressing down, your hips rising high, and your heels and toes rooting down. And then walk your feet towards your hands. Please come to Uttanasana. And in the standing forward bend, let's inhale, glide the heart forward, lengthen your spine, and exhale to deeply bow towards your legs. Okay, inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, hands to your heart. Now we're going to take the two fists and come down to the back of the calf. So bend your knees, and you can make your topotement actions at the back of the calves and the Achilles. Up and down. And the outer calves, outer shins. And the fronts. Notice that each part has a little different sound. So you could make music with this topotement in the body. Make the feet a little bit wider and go to the inner calves. And then up to the outer thighs. The back of the thighs. Come up to the front of the thighs. And the inner thighs. And the outer hips. Up to standing with the arms relaxed. Point the toes just slightly out. And without the heels coming up all that high, you can now give a little bounce. If you bend the knees slightly, it's easier. In other words, if you lock the knees, it's going to be a lot harder. So it's just a little bouncy feeling on the toes. You do want the ability for your whole body to be able to respond. So even the fingers can feel. Okay, and then bring that to a close and let's stand really still for a few moments. Notice what you've awakened, right? Okay, let's place the hands and feet in downward dog pose now. We're going to be exploring what's called Ekapada, Adho Mukha Svanasana, which means one-footed downward dog pose. So come into the downward dog pose that is yours based on the measurement of your plank pose. And then reach high into your downward dog once you've measured that. Now, keeping both hands firm, please press into your thumbprints and each of your fingerprints. Firm the outer triceps in towards the midline of your pose. And then gaze back at your feet and make the right toes firm and steady, the mounds of the toes, and to whatever extent you can, root your right heel towards the floor. And then begin to raise your left leg high up behind you and see if you can sustain the stability of the pose from both hands and your right foot. And then even the hips will be level right now. We're not distorting the pelvis. Now, of course, you might notice that your left hand and your right foot are taking more responsibility. That's appropriate. But keep the right hand also strong and your right elbow straight. And as you root down from your right outer hip and your right sitting bone, begin to slowly stack your pelvis over your right thigh. Again, without distorting the right leg or your outer hip, keep the right elbow strong and the right arm steady and the right side waist long. And then slowly begin to level your hips back to center. And place your left foot down next to your right foot. If you maintain the right leg there, there should not be a lot of jostling about to get the left foot back to the floor. Okay, roll forward to your hands and knees. Now this is going to seem a little bit strange. When you're on your hands and knees, cross your left ankle to go right behind the right thigh and shin and sit on it. Yeah, I'm sitting on it. And it's painful. There's a bone, the ankle bone, against your calf muscle. That is part of the compression. And then walk forward. Release your left foot. Notice the right calf, like a little bit of heat goes down there. And then the second side. So curl your toes under, raise high into your dog pose, keeping your hands stable and your triceps turned in towards your nose. Steady your left foot and raise your right leg. Begin with the hips being level. So you really have this quality of sort of integrity and honesty with yourself. Notice that the right hand and your left foot will likely feel like they have more responsibility, but the left hand is still present as well. And begin to stack your hips over your left thigh, while keeping the left side waist long and your left leg and left foot strong. And then start bringing the hips back to level. You may notice that you're kind of moving across different sensations for your left leg and calf. Come forward and down. Place the right ankle between the left calf and the left thigh. So you're making a little squeeze on your ankle joint, but of course you may have a very strong relationship right now with your left calf and your left hamstring. And then come forward. Release and notice the left calf muscle. And then come down to your forearms and please clasp your hands. Let's place the elbows so that they are shoulder width apart. Curl the toes under and step into plank pose on the forearms. Reach your heels back and the crown of your skull forward. Notice the tone that you need at the pelvic floor and the deep inner belly. Now very lightly touch your knees down, knees and thighs, point the toes, curl your chest and heart forward to Sphinx pose. A little bit like doing cow pose. Inhale. And then exhale, press down through your elbows, look down, raise your pelvis up, but keep the knees on the floor. It's just going to be easier. And then lower the hips down, pelvis down, slide your heart forward. Inhale. Exhale, like plank pose, but on the knees and the elbows. Inhale forward to Sphinx. And then exhale to dolphin plank one more time. Now curl the toes under and raise back up to plank. Walk your toes towards your elbows, raise your hips high, and come into downward dog on the elbows. Make the right foot steady and raise your left leg high. And then lower the left foot down.
Root your left foot and heel and raise your right leg high. I don't find that this pose is conducive to stacking the hips. I'd rather that we work on the symmetry of the elbows, shoulders, and hips. Lower the right foot down. Touch your knees down and come into pranam, or sometimes we call it child's pose. You can place your palms flat on the floor, relax the weight of your head either all the way to the floor, or for some people, a block for the head. And then please walk your hands back towards your knees and rise up to kneeling.
Okay. So I'd like to explore something now with you that's going to be on the floor, and you'll need your wingspan available to you. If you don't have a large space, it's okay. You can accommodate your wingspan by scooting to one side and then scooting to the other side. And again, this is going to be in the spirit of compression and then decompression. So lie on your abdomen and take the right arm out to the side, palm face down. Spread the fingers wide. Turn your head to your left and place your left hand on the floor underneath your left shoulder. Now press down with your left hand and start rolling your left shoulder up away from the floor. With that action, then lift your left leg and step backwards over your right leg. When you're stepping back like this, reach through the left leg and the left heel. Press your right palm firmly down. It's okay if the forearm also feels firm against the floor, but roll the right shoulder just a tiny bit up off the floor, so it's not like you're digging a hole in the floor with your right shoulder. And then exhale, roll back to center. Bring your right palm in, take the left hand out. Turn your head to the right and start by rolling your right shoulder up towards the ceiling. Then step backwards with your right leg over your left leg. You can reach through the back of the right heel. Press your left palm firmly down. You can use all 4 fingers and your thumb as well. And roll your left shoulder just a little bit up off the floor so it's not digging a hole in your yoga mat. And then roll back to center. You place both arms alongside your torso. Bring your forehead down to the floor. Now we'll make 2 fists with the hands and slide the fists under your pelvis in the deep low belly, above the pubic bone, between your hip bones, and yes, in the inner juicy parts there. And keeping your forehead down, or you can place your chin forward, that's up to you. Excuse me. Keeping the left leg grounded, raise your right leg up to salambasana. And breathe smoothly. And then lower the right leg down. Root down with your right leg. Raise your left leg up to salambasana without rolling side to side. So you are putting some compression on the belly right now.
Lower the left leg, root down with the left, rise up with the right. Lower the right, root down with the right, rise up with your left. Lower the left, root down with both legs. Raise both legs together. They may not go very far, and that is okay. And then release. Turn your head to one side and relax. Put your mind down in the low belly, please. And just try to sense after that compression, what comes now as a kind of revitalizing in the low pelvis. Okay, place your hands beneath your shoulders. Press up to table pose. Press up to Uttanasana. Rise up to standing. Good morning. Okay. So what I'd like to do now is have you feel the result of that kind of practice by doing the surya namaskar, where you can feel, my hope is that what you'll feel is that there's less debris in the body, there's more circulation. My hope is that you'll feel that there's more freedom. And if the first chakra is about stability, the second chakra is about freedom, the freedom to explore, the freedom for the adventure, the freedom to find out what this sensory life is like. That's in our earliest phase of the second chakra. We do kind of spiral around the chakras, different phases of life. The second chakra has a different meaning. Please bring your hands together at your heart. May this feel light and mobile to you as we do it. So inhale, rising up. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, glide forward. Okay, left toes back. Rise up, crescent. Exhale, descend. Place your palms firmly on the blocks. Inhale, plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank. Okay, seal pose. Come to it with your exhale, and then light it up with your inhale. Low cobra. Slide your shoulders back. Keep integrity in the upper back spine. Inhale, rise up, high cobra. Exhale, seal pose. Inhale, plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, raise your left leg high. Exhale, left foot forward. Inhale to rise, crescent. Exhale, descend. Firmly place your hands. Inhale, plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward, plank. Seal pose.
Inhale, light it up. Exhale, low cobra, Bhujangasana. Inhale, high cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, seal pose. Inhale, plank. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Then inhale, raise your right leg high. Exhale, right foot forward. Inhale, left foot forward, heart forward. Exhale for a deep bow to the legs. Inhale, rise up, upward hands pose. And exhale, hands to the heart. Inhale, upward. Downward. Asatoma. Heart forward. Left toes back, left knee down. Satkamaya. Rising up. Descending. Tamasoma. Plank. Downward dog. Jyotirgamaya. Plank. Seal pose. Mrityorma. Lighting it up. Cobra. Amritam Gamaya. Inhale, high cobra. In silence, exhale, seal. Inhale, plank. Downward dog. Asatoma. Raise your left leg, inhale. Left foot forward, right knee down. Sadgamaya. Rising up. Descending. Tamasoma. Plank. Downward dog. Jyotirgamaya. Plank. Seal pose. Mrityorma. Light it up. Low cobra. Amritam Gamaya. High cobra. Seal pose. Plank. Downward facing dog. Raise your right leg high. Right foot forward. Left foot forward. Heart forward. A deep bow to the legs. Rising up. Anjali Mudra. Now please watch for a moment. So when you lie on your back now, we're going to do something that people have found either a little awkward or confusing, though I have found it very natural, so I want you to see it before you do it. It's not hard, but as I said, some people find it to be awkward or confusing. I have to do a little housekeeping, just a moment. So when you lie on your back here, you're going to do this sort of self-Traeger, we sometimes call it, this little massage for the body. So you take the toes and basically like bouncing earlier, you're using the toes like this. And so the toes are just pushing forward, 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 and then back. And it causes this whole body undulation, which we will do for almost 2 minutes. So please lie on your back. You can join me here. When you're doing it, it should feel to you like every part of the body is able to respond, including your cervical spine, your head and neck. And when you get comfortable with it and you have a certain rhythm, you can add these gentle rotations of your head left and right. And those gentle rotations, you want to sense that the undulation that the toes are causing continues, even if you're rotating your head. Let it be very restful. Just a few moments more. Bring the head to center. And then let yourself become very still. So feel into the stillness that is beneath the shimmering movement of prana. So you can sense both are there. Let everything become very still. Your mind, your senses, not by any coercion to stillness, but from your attention resting in that which is not right now moving, that which is calmly abiding. Again, let your mind rest on what is deeply still, that which is calmly abiding. Continue to feel the stillness to which you are being returned right now. Don't let the mind wander away. Continue to rest like you are the water which is reflecting the sky. You are not the movement of the sky. Stay with that which is deeply still and calmly abiding.
Now, without influencing that stillness with unnecessary movement, please take a slightly deeper breath in. And find your way to sitting, which is more precious than Shavasana right now, like a precious gem. Come to your seat. Rest one palm in the lap of the other. And even while you sense the revitalization of your body, rest your mind on that which is deeply still. Placing your intention for the day in the centers of your palms, raise the palms up to be at the second chakra. Asatoma satgamaya, tamsoma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. May our practice and our intention to carry this practice in the day, may it lead us to the real, not the unreal.
to that which is true, that which is abiding, that which is ever present, neither fleeting nor ephemeral. May we feel into that which is beyond the beyond. And may we know it to be our very essence. And the essence of everyone and everything. With an inhale, you can raise your personal intention up to your heart. Place it in your heart. Place it in your palms. Place it in your mind. Bring it back to the heart. And then place it in your community. You're also holding their intention in your hands. And bring that back to the heart. And down to the second chakra. Astoma Sadgamaya Tamsoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste. I will come up to see you for a short bit. Change my camera, and you can see me too. Okay, how is the decompressed version of you?